Right. Okay. Right then. Yes. Next up, we are. Look, that was. I had a bit of a moment there. The moment has passed, and we are ready to begin the friendship process. Finally, as if we haven't been doing that already. But maybe more successfully than last time. Things happen. Anyway, I don't think anything's gonna be as bad as things. So we are self-harm and blood. That's fine. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. We can deal with that. That's literally nothing. Let's begin the friendship process. Yes. It's a clear, cool night, and you're wandering around trying to decide whose hive you should crash at before the sun comes up. It's nice having so many options for places to stay. You've cultivated a decent community for yourself. Oh, just remembered I fucked up a thing. That's pathetic and embarrassing of me. There we go. The audio was going through the fucking speakers. Ah, jeez. How did I fuck that up? I usually don't forget to do that, but oh well. Oh well. Look. It's only been a few seconds. And I could edit this out and make myself not look like a complete idiot, but then that would not be genuine. That would be... You would get an incorrect representation of my competency. And we can't have that. We can't have you thinking that I'm competent or capable of stuff. I make mistakes, I'm dumb. Anyway, you've cultivated a decent community for yourself, and there is an ember of pride in your belly about it. Still, you find yourself feeling a little aimless. The last couple friends you made were pretty intense, to say the fucking least. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're vibing at a chiller frequency right now. There's still a while until it gets dangerously light out, so you sort of pop around, seeing what feels right. Yeah. It's kind of fun to test out the boundaries of your powers. You used it to find friends, but you're really not sure how far it goes. You think tree, and you don't know how your magic brain decided which ones to choose, but fuck it if you aren't sitting on an extremely high branch on a second later. You try it again, with whatever concept comes to mind. Lap. You try it again, with whatever concept comes to mind. Garden. Cave. Ooh, that's a spooky door there. Mall. And it all works. That's a very dilapidated mall. No one's shopped here in quite a while. You don't remember ever having been to any of those specific places, but you feel a strange, prickly affinity for them each time your feet touch the ground. Yes, touch the grass. Those are all pretty generic locational nouns though. You wonder if it works for things that are more abstract. Quickly, before you can talk yourself out of the naivete of it, you think home. It still takes you a minute to open your eyes, even after you feel your guts all back in the right place. Because what if you wake up in a room that feels like yours? Or worse, and infinitely more likely, what if you don't? You breathe in deep and immediately cough wretchedly. That doesn't seem like home. Or maybe we become used to this air of Altria to the point where we can no longer handle normal Earth air. But yes, that is a very existential thought. What do we consider home? What is home? What isn't home? You open your watery eyes, clinging to the hope that maybe you come from a land of dusty comforts, where you always just breathe in layers of dust, and it's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine, indeed. It's not fine, no. You should never breathe in tons of dust. That's not good for your health at all. You've landed inside of one of the spindliest, most precarious hunks of metal that has ever been bolted into the side of a cliff. It looks like some ancient outpost. Not homey at all. I mean, it's home for somebody. Of course, that wouldn't work. It was stupid to try. Defeat is bitter in your mouth. There's a twisty part of you that wants to curl up on a particular piece of floor and take a nap. Yes, embrace your inner cat and dog. Cat dog. Cat dog, that was a weird show. That was a weird show. But lots of shows from that era were so fucking weird. Actually, in terms of weirdness, that one was kind of tame. Anyway, you can't work out how much of that urge is just you wanting to give in, so just in case, you don't surrender to it. Maybe you'll come back another time and sift through all the shit on the shelves. But for now, you're not sure how structurally sound this thing is, and you can't take any more disappointment. So you try one more time to pop up somewhere you haven't been before. What was that one guy's name that Gamzee mentioned? Oh yeah, Equius. Maybe he's chill. You think his name and zap away, imagining yourself leaving an edgy, despondent swirl of dust in your wake. Oh, right in the punch. Your magical zap calibration maybe isn't as off as you thought, because you pop in on Equius as close as it is possible to get to the dude without landing directly on top of him. The astonishing unchillness of the situation is imminently apparent. He's mid-jump, mid-yell, mid-sweat, and mid-swing of an outlandishly beefy arm toward you. You freeze frame like an anime protagonist analyzing their choices mid-battle. In your drawn-out split-second observational window, you realize he's not aiming at you, but in the direction of whatever noisy whirring thing you happen to plop down in front of... fuck. As soon as he sees you, his eyebrows shoot up above his busted-ass sunglasses and his yell strangles itself into panic. His arm shudders as though he's trying and failing to alter its glorious faceward trajectory. You really do not want to get your face punched off your head, so you scream and zap just outside the high arched door on the far end of the room. Those are some statues. Those are some certainly statues. And a bunch of broken robots there. What's that about? You hear a deep, meaty thunk, followed by a groan and a sharp metallic crunch. The whirring stops. Oh my god, is he dead? Is the other thing dead? Should you go check on him? You skitter away from the door and then back to it, unsure what to do. Yeah, it's confusing this. Was that... No, it can't have been. Hello? Show yourself this instant. Ah, fuck, he does not sound happy. His words are a little garbled too, like some teeth just got knocked out by whoever's ass he was just kicking. You weigh your options. I mean... Let's be... I feel like we have to be brave. I think he respects bravery. I think that might work out good for us. Baby. Oh man. You know, the Gamzee seal of approval is maybe not the most credible, but this guy might be an okay dude. And it would definitely be your fault if he was hurt in there. You should at least check on him. Explain or something. You can zap away if it comes down to it. You do the polite thing this time and knock. He opens the door fast, like he was just on the other side of it. You both jump. Okay. He collects himself and glares at you, arms crossed against his heaving chest. Rivulets of blood and sweat run together and pool in the divot above his weird alien clavicle, and a low, menacing sound rumbles through him. You can feel it in your teeth. Holy shit, he's terrifying. Explain yourself immediately. You think you might shit your pants on the spot, those are some teeth, but he gives you a quick up and down and rearranges his expression into a sort of forced smile. It doesn't really feel any more welcoming with that blood dripping down his chin, but the fact that he's trying is maybe a good sign. Fingers crossed. You hold in your fear shit just in case. Or, perhaps, come in and take a seat. He steps aside to beckon you through the door, and then sort of freezes. Okay, he's super fucking awkward. Unless you should be the one instructing me, in which case it would behoove you to make that promptly apparent. He's sweating bullets, holy shit. I cannot work out how exactly to address you when you don't wear a caste symbol and you look like that. Which I'm either way very sorry for or quite apt about, depending on where the truth lies. Either way, I am beginning to perspire about it. So with it right now, man, he's really struggling. The anger you felt radiating off him before he is still there, but that doesn't seem to be all of what's driving him. It's like there are two competing forces inside him. One that wants to yell at you and one that wants to get yelled at by you. Okay, interesting. You might conceptualize these forces as fierce animals, warring in a glorious and unwavering balance. Horses, perhaps. Anyway, you'll workshop that metaphor later. You tell him you know you look weird, but you promise you're cool. You know a friend of his. At the mention of Gamzee, the corner of his lip curls up into something complicated, so you change course real fast just in case. And Karkat, does he know Karkat? What a guy! He eyes you warily. Or you think he probably does, with his eyes hidden behind the shades. You can't be sure, but he's being very still. Sweat and blood are still just fucking running down his face, and he's not even acknowledging it. You laugh nervously. Ha 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 ha. You both continue to stand there, waiting for the other to make a move. It would be super helpful if someone was assertive around here. Jeez, fucking hell, okay. The buff, mostly naked butler dude. Jeez. Luckily, some kind of cow centaur man, his Lucis you assume, breaks the awkward doorway stalemate by silently trotting up and handling Equius' desperately needed towel. He then offers you both some frosty glasses of milk. Something deep inside you feels a swell of warm recognition for the ritualistic moment of a friend's parent bringing you snacks. So you down that thick shit in one go. The Lucis mustache flutters in appreciation, and after a nod between him and Equius, he leaves as quietly as he came. I see you're an aficionado of the sweetest of nectars. This speaks to the likelihood of your nobility, which is reassuring. I may be able to overlook the circumstances of your meeting then. If you can provide strong evidence, of course. Tell me, are you also a hoof-beast art enthusiast? He beckons you inside the room, and as you follow, you tell him you're not really sure what that means, but probably you're a fan of love. He's got a fetish. Good for him. Oh, wow, okay, so that's what he meant. Cool, yeah, whatever. You feel like you learned once that anything can be art if it feels right. So art can definitely be the, well-muscled horseman on the walls of this here living space. Sure. I mean, it seems like decent art, so whatever. Good for him. You do you. I don't really give a shit, honestly. Equius rumbles in agreement and gestures toward a chair. It's one of those cool red and black gamer-themed chairs with embedded speakers. There's a lot of that kind of decorating motif in here, which is a little at odds with the high ceilings and engraved doorways and general blue-blood old-money architecture. Hey, modern generations are what they are. Oh yeah, and there are broken bows and robot parts all over the goddamn fucking place. Oh yeah, that too, right, I guess that's important. That might be important mentioned. Maybe, well, we'll see. Not in neat little stacks or connected to other robot parts to create whole robots, just an absolute wasteland of obliterated robocorpses. Like they all were torn limb from limb and then just scooted off toward the wall. Fair few of them are spattered in blood too. Dried, looks like almost black, but the fresh stuff on the fists of the one in pieces at your feet is bright indigo. On the other hand, it is absolutely a relief to see that it's all metal and not flesh body parts scattering the floor. I guess that's a small, we'll take it, small victory. But also it's still, not fucked up looking. I guess, yeah. Your smile probably has too many teeth in it to seem normal, but Equius returns it in kind and leans, what he probably thinks is casually, against the edge of his desk. It creaks under his weight. Jeez, he could just end you in half a second, couldn't he? Yes. You claim we have mutual acquaintances, so demonstrate it. He nods toward the screen of his desktop, where he has Trollian open. Fuck. Okay, you guess you can just click on someone and ask them to prove it? He seems to know both Karkat and Gamzee, and between the two, you know who's most likely to be online, and you're ready to pester and be pestered at all times. So you click his screen name and start typing. Centaur Statical CT began trolling. Carcinogeneticist. Hey Karkat, I hope you're having a good day. I just had a quick favor to ask you. Wait, what? Oh, I miss you. What the fuck? What happened to you? Where's your horrifying quirk? How am I supposed to saddle up for some truly nauseating conversation if I don't have a not veiled, at all bold reference greeting me at the beginning of every one of your excruciating messages? Are you sick, like in a new way? Alright, jeez, you're logged in as Equius. You fool ass just start typing like you had your own account for some reason. You blame it on the nerves and get to clarifying. So this is your new friend. After I dropped you off yesterday, I wandered around for a while and now I'm hanging out with Equius. I'm using his computer. Oh, my pusher almost fucking gave up on the spot. I don't think he trusts me. Can you vouch for me? Hold on, let me just bask in the concept of the two of you hanging out. Okay. This is a mental masterpiece, a tableau of awkward fucking splendor. I legitimately do not even know what sort of short-circuiting must be happening in his brain to try and make sense of you. Please don't tell me a single fucking thing about it later. Okay, sure, I guess we'll let him have his imagination. Okay, I'm done now. Is he watching? Equius leans over your shoulder and tucks his hair behind his ear so it doesn't get in the way of his typing. D, it's a bow and arrow. Any resemblance otherwise it's only a pleasant coincidence. And yes, I am watching. Okay, whatever. Listen up, you milk-loaked chum squelcher. This little guy right there, the one you're probably dripping sweat all over, that's one of the realest friends you will ever hope to make. Sure, they'll send your life careening horrendously, of course, but will absolutely be worth it for the level of dedication they bring to the table. Don't even bother with the blood color horse shit with this one, since they're the only one of their species. Just roll with it for once in your wretched life. Don't fuck this one up, Zahak. They're an abomination and they wouldn't know what a boundary was if it took up a residence in your grease chute. But you two have those things in common, so in this case, that's a good thing. Equius inhales sharply, and you wonder what Karkat meant by that. About Equius, you mean? Sure, you're an inexplicable being, neither Earthling nor Alternian, but with weird itchy memories about having lived on both planets. But he doesn't seem out of the normal range of fucked up, considering troll standards, yes, I mean. In fact, how about this? That is sufficient. Goodbye. He minimizes the window and steps back, somehow sweatier than he was before. He taps the towel gingerly to his forehead. So, we have now been properly introduced. Okay then, you definitely thought he was going to be more thorough than that. He does seem a little shaken up, so maybe you should just be thankful the conversation got cut short before he could really dig too deep into your lore and get judgmental about it. I do not know the standard method of communication with your species. You will take the lead here and it will surely become clear how I should proceed. Yes, that sounds extremely feasible. You will now begin the friendship process. I guess we can do, I don't know. This is, I command it. Sure you got this, I guess. How exactly do you got this? I don't know. I think we just like say that let's do this thing, and after we do this thing, we're friends now. Show off your cool powers or both freaks, geez, I think both options are fucking awful. Show off some cool powers, I guess. I don't know. Great, you can do that. Making friendship happen is like the one skill you actually have. From what you recall, you have a 100% success rate at it. Too, so this budding report is safe in your hands. Excellent. Phew, you really weren't sure he'd be down for this. It really seemed like he might be coming to kill you when you heard him stomping towards the earlier, and he just cracked his sunglasses even more. Kill you? I would never. He cuts himself off as though he didn't intend to admit he didn't have it in him to murder you, and clears his throat. At first I thought you might be Arthur Malusus. It's ridiculous looking back, though you do share a sort of globular painted resemblance. How did you come to entangle yourself in my brawl, only to immediately escape? Are you abnormally fast? I admit that particular method of being strong had not occurred to me, but I am intrigued. I too like to test the limits of physical capability. No, you can just zap places. It's kind of strength, maybe, if you want to define a superpower that way. You show off a bit, since you know Equius likes demonstrations. You tell him about how all you have to do is think of the place or person you want to visit and pop. Pop. You bop to the top of a pile of robot pots, then back in front of him on the floor. It's like that, except anywhere. I see. That is exceptional. He's shaking. He sort of just starts quaking gently where he stands. He rubs his neck with his towel, but he's not really even sweating any more than he had been already. It's as though in his excitement he forgot to sweat and just dabbed by force of habit. Is that a thing? Why are you even noticing this shit? Is it possible to bring along a pillion rather? Well, like zap a buddy with you? In answer, you extend an elbow for him to grab. His whole body's vibrating by this point. He reaches his hand out, but stops just before he touches you, like you might shock him. It's okay, won't hurt you, you say. His fingers twitch just above your elbow, and his mouth purses in distrust. You're not sure exactly what he's worried about, since you're extremely undangerous, but you let him have a moment to work through whatever he's nervous about. He takes a steadying breath. It's a little unsettling to see his face relax, even briefly, into soft, calm lines. Flipped palm up, his hand slowly cradles your forearm from below. He nods, a sharp, determined movement, and starts telling you what to do again. You will take me with you. Her name is Nepeta. Do you require any other information, or will that be sufficient? That ought to do it. You haven't heard of her, you don't think, but you feel an immediate surge of excitement about this little jaunt. It's probably mostly just the friendship that's talking, but you can't help but feel like this is a connection that is supposed to be made. Like it's something that matters. You zap away. The pleasant little cosmic slip and slide feeling when you zap around is jolted, like you got yanked off the ride with a fish hook to your guts. You land back exactly where you started. That did not work. Did you mislead me? No, this should work. You're not even high this time. As impressive as the strength of your power is, perhaps you need to apply more attention to the more intricate details involved. She is olive blood, very short, and shamefully unkempt. This information will help. You hope so. He is starting to look pretty tense, even with the fond lilt in his voice as he talks about his messy friend. You go to another world, and then you feel it. That same weighty glare on the back of your neck telling you you don't belong. Fuck, you got zap blocked again. You will try again. Okay, each word is ground out one at a time between his clenched teeth. Blood trickles through the cracks in his bite and out the corner of his lips. You really don't think this is going to work, but Equius looks like he's a second away from losing his shit. So reluctantly, you comply. Quit fucking trying to skip ahead, it's not going to work. Alright, we're gonna meet Nepeta in a different volume. Chill. As you hurtle through space-time toward Equius' floor, you start to wonder if this is just gonna be what happens now when you try to make friends. You accept this truth into your heart as your face accepts the impending wood planks. Equius lands on his feet a little ways away from you, his hands balled into fists, bellowing with impotent rage. He's not even saying words, just unleashing an agonized guttural wail. He punches an already dead robot torso leaning against the bookshelf. In punctuation, he kicks its decapitated head, which explodes in a shower of bolts and sparks. As the dust clears, you see him dutifully wiping himself down with a towel, breathing hard. He seems to have worked his anger out, because he walks with purposeful grace, as though he learned it in cotillion, and sits next to where you're still sort of laying on the floor. You are both silent for a beat. Equius tugs a lock of his hair, anxiously wrapping it around his finger. His hands fall to his lap. I apologize for that display. The disappointment emotion is not my favorite. I feel better now, however. My morale lives very, very far away, so our paths have never been able to cross. Whatever force is blocking us seems to wield significant narrative power, so I'll respect its whims as above mine in status. For now. It happens. You're no stranger to the ups and downs of friendship. The trick is to know when to keep trying and when to fall back, no matter how futile it feels or how alone you are. Your morale is impressive, considering your circumstances. That's probably mostly a compliment. You're not really sure. Your circumstances definitely feel like they could be worse. You are very sure of yourself. How do you manage this when you are the only one of your kind? Without society tell you how to act or feel, how do you know if you are living in the correct way? How do you know where you belong? Oh, that's a super deep question. I don't know. Or if you belong. I don't know. Do you need to belong necessarily? I don't know. It's one of those things that's like, maybe, maybe not. Fucking ouch. I guess also, the desire to belong is a yawning wound in your guts. One that never seems to heal. You try not to let this rip too many stitches out of it. You never feel totally secure, you say. There's always fear, always doubt, always pain. But you find people in unlikely places. Make community when and where you can. Shit, you have belongings at what, like 8 people's houses by now? It's not the same as having your own spot, but it's definitely something. You start off on the defensive, but you realize it's true. So really, you figure, you're still defining yourself by your relationships with other people, but that can come from a good place, and not just a twisted and forced one. You get wanting to know you're doing something right, unlocking your own mentally devised set of achievements for that sweet dopamine rush. But leaning on a fucked up societal system for direction and validation doesn't really help him, and it definitely isn't helping many others. You don't need that to figure yourself out. His brows furrow and you can almost hear a couple of the 4,672 rigid barriers in his brain creaking open. It's not just other people, you think. You find strength, is that right? In your own self too. You've met a lot of people and learned a lot of ways to be, but you're still working on what that means for you. No, it is not right, but I appreciate the attempt. This type of understanding does not come easy to me, but I believe I am following. In my case, I have striven to locate and retool the edge of my own ability. Physical prowess is a relatively typical indigo trait, but I am abnormally strong. I have worked to hone it in an attempt to make sense of myself and why I am like this, reining in an aberrant trait and defining himself by it. He gestures to the god-awful robot mess, then flexes his hand. The blood has coagulated since you two started talking. He stares at it. This way of thinking may not always be a good thing, however. Certain habits are difficult to break. Though there are loopholes in every rule, I often lose track of which regulations I actually enjoy following, and which I just do to not know how to disregard. At least with this hobby, all the stakes are under my control, with no chance of others getting hurt. Unless they haphazardly zap in between your fight looking for friendship, that is. His smile is as broken and rigid as it was the first time, but feels different, backed by the rough warmth of his laugh. Yes, do not do that again. Next time you will zap to the front door and Arthur will let you in. Next time you think, and smile back. Aw. Excellent. Victory. Well, this was awkward and weird, but nice. Everyone's different. Like, you know, everyone dealing with other people is different. It was neat. This was neat. This was nice. We made a friend in Equius. Somehow, I guess. That's like interesting person he is. I like him. He's peculiar. Alright then. Alright, that's that. Next time we'll continue. But for now, need to take a little water break and then we can resume.